All right, hello, game design students. This is video number 8 in the series of how to make a 2D platformer because I'm splitting the last video in half. The last video was about creating an enemy and having it interact with your player character, and the second half of that video is all about moving the enemy and making it move, and it just took too long. It was like 30 minutes long with the videos together, so I've split it in half. Part 7 is about making the enemy, and this one, part 8, is about moving the enemy. And so it'll be edited a little bit to try and cut it down, make it a little shorter and easier to understand. Yeah, but here it is.
Now, the main problem with moving the enemy is how to detect when it has reached the edge of a platform. The easiest way to do this is with invisible edge markers. These are just invisible sprites that flip the direction of an enemy when it touches them. Okay. We can also use the platform behavior again for the enemy. This is convenient because it can move it in either directions, and it can go up and down slopes like the player can, and it'll fall off ledges if you want it to. So we need to go back to our layout. We need to select our enemy here, and we need to add a behavior to it. The behavior we're going to add in this case is the platform behavior. Right here, platform, add. Now, you might be thinking, if I add the platform behavior to the enemy, aren't I going to be controlling it? Yeah, by default you will. Right? Isn't that interesting? You're never going to be able to jump on this guy. Well, I guess you will because it'll run into some sort of... Oh, and I'll just hurt myself forever. But it's very clunky here with that. Okay? If you leave the platform behavior on your enemy, you will control him. Now, the way to stop doing that, in the left side here, under these behaviors, we want to click the check mark on default controls. So our platform behaviors are enabled, but we won't be controlling him. We can simulate control, but we won't actually control this guy. So when I unclick that default controls, I can just go take a little jump on my enemy there. Pretty cool. Now, what does this mean? This means we can start to control our enemy. Okay. The first thing I want to do, let's go in order here. I would love to just get going crazy on this, but we're going to go in order. We are going to do this right here where we add these little green boxes that you'll see on your layout, but you won't actually see them in the game because we're going to make them invisible. And how to do that is we just double click. We want to add in a sprite, and you can add it in anywhere, it doesn't matter. And I actually want to change my canvas size to 48 by 48, keep my aspect ratio. Okay, and this will just give me this nice tiny little sprite right here.
Now I'm going to do a quick pause and zoom in here in this edit. To change your canvas size, you just click on these little arrows there that are highlighted in yellow, and that's where you can type in your 48 by 48.
Now I can just use the paint bucket fill here to make it any color. I'm going to make it, I'm going to do like a bright yellow here just to make it different from my player marker. And I can go ahead and exit this out here. Now I do want to rename my sprite. I want to call it Edge Marker, so I know where the edge is. So that's as far as I want my enemy to go that way, and then I can hold control and click and drag, and it will actually make a copy of it, and that's as far as my enemy will go that way. Okay, I gotta answer the phone real quick, so I'll edit this out. We're back. So I have my edge markers here, and you'll notice there's not multiple edge markers, there's just 2 instances of the same edge marker there, okay, which is great. So we have this, which is great. Now, what we need to do here is add what is called an instance variable. So we're going to select our enemy. We're going to go to instance variables.
While I'm editing this, I'm realizing that I'm going really quickly through a lot of these things, but instance variables are just found on the properties panel on the left side.
We're going to add a new one, and it is going to be direction. It's going to be a string, and the initial value is going to be right. Okay, awesome, sweet. Now, we want to go to our event sheet. We're going to add an event. We're going to click on our enemy 1. We are going to actually scroll down until we find instance variables, and we're going to compare our instance variables. If our direction is equal to right, then we want to add an action for our enemy. In this case, we're going to go down to platform, and we're going to pick the very last one, which is simulate control, and we're going to control it to the right, which is awesome. Okay, meaning that if our enemy is facing to the right, we want to simulate platform pressing right. Okay. We're going to add in another one. Enemy. We're going to go to our compare instance variable. If our direction is equal to left, then we're going to go to our enemy. We're going to simulate control to the left. All right. So if we're facing right, we want to simulate our platform pressing right. If we're facing left, we want it to simulate it pressing left. So watch what happens here. Guy's cruising, but he just totally takes off to the right. A few issues I see right now, okay? These are still visible, which I want them to be right now. And the problem is, our guy just runs right through them. If we start it again, okay, we see our issue. Boom, he just takes off, runs right through it. But he is moving now, which is good. Okay. Now we want to do the following. We want to add an event. Enemy 1. On collision with another object, which in this case would be edge marker. Done. Now we want to right click, add a sub event if enemy compare instance variable is equal to right. Then we want to say enemy change set value of the instant variable to left. Now let me explain what this does here. It means when we collide with that yellow marker, if we are facing to the right, we're going to turn to the left.
During this part, I actually messed up with my sub event, and so you're just going to see me fast forward through my struggles, and we're going to get you to the part where I actually do it right.
Okay, we're back. I found out what my issue was here with this problem. So I didn't use an else. So instead of adding another sub event, what you want to do is click right here, right click, add an else. And then it sets our enemy direction to right. Now watch what happens here when I run this. My enemy bounces back and forth between the two yellow blocks. Okay. Now, edge marker. I want to get rid of this solid behavior. So you shouldn't have any behaviors on your edge marker. Should be totally blank. And then we want to click initially visible to make them invisible so we can't see them. Then I want to click on my enemy and I want to go to his platform behavior and I want to turn his max speed down to about 150. Make it about half of what it was. So now as I open this up, you'll see those blocks are invisible. My enemy is moving much slower. And you can adjust that speed based on what you want. But there you go. You can still kill your enemy. Pretty cool. And I can jump around here, which is great. Okay. By doing all this, obviously, I'm going to edit this video up a little bit to make it a little sharper. But I want to show you one last thing before we finish up. Okay. How can you make it so you have more enemies without having to do this same process over and over? Okay, here's how you do it. Select your enemy. Hold control on your keyboard and then click and drag while holding control your enemy and you'll notice it makes a copy. So I'm going to put an enemy right over here. Then I'm going to select my edge marker. I'm going to hold control and I'm going to click and drag it so I'm marking the edge of my platform there. I'm going to select my other edge marker, hold control, and I'm going to click and drag it to mark the end of my platform here. Now watch what happens when I start this. I've got my first enemy that's cruising around. I'm just going to jump over and leave him. Oh, look, a second enemy. Isn't that pretty nice? Oh, I'm getting hurt. Oh, jump on him. There we go. Got him. All right. And you'll notice, because I removed the solid behavior there. Oh, wow. Something's weird here.
During this part, I found a weird animation bug that's not important, so I just kind of jumped around with it for a minute.
Okay, this video is going to be pretty heavily edited because this is the most complicated one here. But it's pretty cool to make your enemies run around and move. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
All right, thanks everyone for watching the videos and working on this project. This is actually going to be the last one I do. There's still another section about adding pickups to your 2D platformer game, but if that's something you'd like to do, you have the tools and the skills now by watching these videos to get that done. But that's not something that's required for the assignment. Feel free to watch through any of these videos. They'll all be up here on Google Classroom for you anytime. They're uploaded to YouTube, so you can slow them down or speed them up or skip around or do whatever you need to in order to make it better for your learning. Remember, if you have any questions, let me know, and have fun creating your game. Bye.